got it.
It's thinking.
There we go. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. We finally got here. I've been waiting. The squirrels were in the tree going Friday, 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 Friday. So welcome back to the Friday Grief Chat. I'm Jill.
Wait, let me show my shirt.
I'm Deb. Not Jill.
Not Jill.
And that's Krista Patronick. And she's a comedian and she does grief comedy and stand-up. And oh my gosh, we're so glad she's here. And just so that you know, in the chat already are all of her upcoming shows.
Her handle is the witty window. No, witty widow. Gosh,
there you go.
I'm gonna sound like Elmer Fudd. I am.
She's
so
the witty
sorry.
widow. I'm the rebellious widow. You're not gonna be a widow for a long time.
No, I'm still married.
We're not allowing that.
No.
Yeah.
So, Krista, welcome. Thank you for agreeing on being on with Jill and I. And how did you get started doing wonderful death comedy?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be with you.
We're glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I got started. So my husband passed in December of 2022, and I was 35. And I had honestly, I had always loved to write and always kind of been the funny one in the family and that kind of thing. But comedy had never really crossed my mind until probably about a year into the grief process when there was an open mic near my house where I was living. I was working at Dartmouth College at the time, which is very rural place. Not a whole lot of bars there. Not a whole lot of a going out scene in good old rural New Hampshire. So, this open mic.
But loons, you have loons. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This open mic had kind of popped up near where I was living. So, and I was I think that I have something to say about the strangeness of the experience of being widowed so young. And just kind of reflecting on it, just of course you never expect to be a widow at 35. And you
don't sign up for it. It's not in the
plan.
The plan is rocking chairs, porch, grandpuppies or grandchildren, that's the plan.
Yeah, that's always the plan, right? And so when there's a wrench thrown in your plans, earlier than you thought. I mean, my husband was kind of sick, so he was towards the end of his life. He was kind of okay, well, I will be lucky if he sees 50. I thought he'd see 45. You know what I mean? And he died at 42. So, pretty young. But anyway, I was this is just the strangest experience. And so I started writing about it, and I started writing about what it's like to lose the person that you thought you were going to spend your life with, and how strange it is to be in the world as a single person again. They don't make the world for single people. They don't.
And they don't know what to do with widows.
That's right.
Widowers are supposed to remarry. Widows, what do we do with you?
Right.
Yes. Everyone has a lot of opinions about the way you start to live your life.
And when after someone dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I felt like I had a lot to say, so I just wrote a few minutes or whatever, and I got up at the mic, and I really loved it, and I got very positive feedback from the other comics who were at the mic, and they were like, you're really good, keep doing this, which was so awesome to hear. And so I did, and I kept writing, and I kept trying to find the funny in what had happened to me. And I mean, like you said, Jill, there are people out there, or the reaction to me doing comedy at first, especially about this,
right,
especially from even my husband's family, was an outrageous thing. You know what I mean? They were you're making light of this situation. This is so horrible. I'm unless you've lived it, you don't know.
This is coping. This is coping. I was at urgent care this last week several times, and so one of the nurses we were talking and I said, yeah, don't get too close. I kill people. And they're like, what? And I said, well, two wives, but now I'm married to the third one. And I told a little bit of the story. And the second wife's name was Casper, who was the friendly ghost and a hospice nurse. And I had a crowd. And they're like, we don't know what to say to people who've had that experience, but now we know you can laugh. I'm like, yes, you can.
Yeah. I'd like to jump in here and say what I realized. A significant person in my life died May 1st. And I'm still going through some of the grieving stuff. And what I realized on a grieving day, that's what I call it, when I cry more than twice, it becomes a grieving day. When I interact with people, I am really funny. Yeah. And now I know why my therapists love me and why they also had to say, please, no jokes right now, please. And because I search for that comfort of that energy of, I don't necessarily want to feel what I'm feeling, and yet I want to hear laughter, and I have control. It's a control thing, right?
For sure.
That I can bring in to cause something besides the heaviness of grief. It's like bubbles, right?
Absolutely.
So, Krista, did you feel like you had to sort of distance a little bit from that side of the family for a bit to give yourself space to develop this part of you that was doing grief your way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think after my husband passed, I had this moment of like, we're gonna get toxicity out of our life, right? Like, this is not what we need. Like, we need to cut who we need to cut. Like, there's no space for that anymore. You know what I mean? It's about like healing the way that I'm gonna heal. And people are gonna have their opinions, they can have them, but whatever. There's this quote that's like, your opinion of me is none of my business. And I really held on to that.
Yes.
I call them the widow rules, and I tell them that's what I spend my time breaking. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to go faster, but wait, you're going too fast. You're not supposed to laugh, but you are supposed to laugh because it makes us more comfortable. You're not supposed to cry, but wait, you're not crying enough. Hurry up and get this done. Wait, you're going too fast. And definitely don't date. Oh my God.
No.
Date.
Oh no.
Not allowed.
No.
Yeah. Another widow took me out to coffee and said, if you're going to date, you got to go 30 miles away because people will find you and then it's over. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then people start to talk, and then word starts to kind of get around, and social media, the whole thing. It's so toxic. So I mean, when you got to cut people out of your life if they're doing that. I mean,
right.
Yeah. I mean, and that was a big part of my experience after I was widowed. I went through the widow's fire, as they say. I have a whole bit about the widow's fire. It really happened. It
does.
Yes. And and even my own friends, family members, they all certainly had a lot to say. And it's like, you truly don't get it unless you're going through it.
You're not waking up next to an empty bed. So you can just put that and park it and not your decision.
Yep.
You know who supported me in that was my mom, who was a widow and did not do that. But she was like, nobody gets to tell you how to do this.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I'm so glad you had to support. That's awesome.
And when I ended up in the ER and my soon second wife to be came to check on me, my mom was there, and it sort of freaked her out. My wife, not my mom. And my mom said, will you stay with her overnight? And Casper was like, this feels weird that what are you? But because you don't get that from other people. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. You're not being a good widow. You're supposed to be chaste and supposed to become the BVM.
Right.
Blessed Virgin Mary. Yep.
Exactly. We're back to
again. How many times can you be that in one lifetime?
Right.
I mean, crickets. You're gonna get hand cramps from going like this.
Listen.
So, Krista, what are some of the topics you just touched on them and maybe I hate to have you share your craft, but can you share your craft your craft about
with a T.
couple one-liners? What are some of the topics Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Ian just made a funny too. He
oh.
said it grows back in. So, meaning,
I love that.
yeah, good friend of ours.
Oh,
Very good
awesome.
friend.
In Italy.
In Italy.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of my stuff is about like definitely first of all like the strangeness of like going through that experience, right? And you know, reflecting on like some memories and stuff like that, but then like the identity piece and like coming into yourself now as like you're a new person, right? Like that's I look at my life as like there's me like before Tony died and there's me after Tony died, and
Right.
it's two different people, two very very different people. So a lot of it's like identity stuff and trying to figure out like who I am again, and a big piece of that is also dating. So I do a bit about how strange it is to like pick out and earn for a person. Like that's just an experience I never thought I would have to have. And so the bit is like, you know, I go in and I'm like how do you pick and earn for a man who wore Crocs? Like there's no
There's a croc urn now.
Really?
Yes.
Funny.
I believe that.
Yes.
I think he would like a Croc urn for sure. He was always crocking, always.
I'm wearing Crocs right this minute. Yes.
So it's just weird. And, you know, I remember being like, okay, well, I picked one out. I'm like, I don't know. He likes blue. I picked the blue one. Like, okay, sounds great. And, you know, it's like you pick it out and then you go back a few days later to like pick up your person or whatever. And the funeral home's like, so how do you like your urn? Like, what do you say? He fits perfectly. Like, that's
Did he fit? Did he need another one? Right?
right.
Are the cremains gonna come out the holes of the croc urn? You know?
No, they're sealed. They're sealed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Really? Do you
Although
just
that would make a
make sure
good that would make a good urn for going to sea.
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
putting cremains in Las Vegas. I won't say how I know that.
Yeah.
But let's just say personal experience.
So did you get it? Was it a painted one, or did you get the one made out of the blue stone?
It was just a blue stone. I was like, it's again,
That's
like,
a pretty
it's
one.
Such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing. I'm like, I don't know. I guess this fits to him.
Right?
Yeah. It's
And you
very,
don't know
very strange experience.
because he's supposed to be alive and not
Right.
in a blue urn.
Yeah, I didn't get his opinion about it before he died. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, now that was a mistake because you should ask
check that
what you want to be
list.
in.
What
Yes.
color do you want?
right.
I picked
and
them
you
out
details.
for my husband and I. We're already like,
Good.
I get the least expensive model because nobody's gonna see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like he would have said something like that. I would have like said like he would have been like, oh, practicality. Like he's like, doesn't matter to me. Like I'm not here. You know what I mean? He would have had a sense of humor about it anyway. So
Right.
you know, I take all that stuff with a grain of salt, just because like, you know, if you think that like me doing comedy would be a problem, it's like obviously you never met my husband who loved comedy and was very
And would have
funny,
been in the
so-
front row cheering
Absolutely.
you on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ian says first question after you say I do is what urn do you want?
Yeah.
There you go.
That's legit.
You know, I
Yeah.
do a lot of weddings and funerals. I might have to work that in. Like, here's also an
And I
added
brought you an
service.
urn and casket
Yes.
choice book.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
Mhm.
my gosh. So my next question is dealing with the different stereotypes and myths of all the people, you know, saying you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, why are you doing this? Do you work that into your routine, or are you like, if they see me, okay,
They might
I
take
might be
offense.
asking for a real reason, but I want to
Yeah.
know if you like tell on them with comedy.
I'm like real careful about that type of stuff, just because like I know that whenever I'm doing comedy in a public place, like whatever I say on stage can get back to people, right? So
Yes.
So I'm real careful about, and that's not to say that I haven't, like, I've certainly written like a fair number of men into my bits, like, but they deserve it. You know what I mean? And if they ever they always deserve it. They always deserve it. And if it ever got back to them, they would be like, that's funny. And it's true, but it's funny. Like, that's what matters. Like, I think as long as it's funny, I think I just haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, I would be comfortable saying this on stage and having that get back to that person yet. But like, it's kind of on my mind. It's just you have to craft things in a certain way.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of general. So when I'm doing public speaking bits and I work some of that in, I will say things like, and when you break the widow rules, people vote with their feet. And so you lose some and you gain some, and you never know which one is going to go which direction. And I know if it gets back to someone, they will know that I'm talking about them, but I never said enough to actually identify the them that they are. Right?
Yeah,
it's easier
definitely.
that way.
I just want to say hi to Mary. She just came in.
Hey, Mary.
I also want to, because of like Jill, public speaker, lots of things, and also I do Sunday services, right? Sunday, and I just warn everybody, you have no idea how all of you wind up in, I don't quite tell everything, but I write, but mostly you're going to wind up in my next service, which you probably will. Jill has many times. Mostly, I just want to weird people out because I need the reaction.
Keeps them listening.
It's all about me. So what are some other topics that
weaves into the comedy?
Yeah, well, I mean, dating as a widow is a big one. It's a big one, and it just like. The reactions that you get when you tell people like a little bit of your history, and then like how you go about doing that, the time that you go about doing that, like, usually that's not an off the bat thing that I lead with, you know what I mean?
Right.
I get weirded out by that, and then just like reactions about that type of stuff. That's certainly like another big piece of it. Of course, like, as I say, like I was out of the game for 15 years because I was, like with him and then married. We were together for a total of 15 years. That's a long time to be off the dating market. And so to come back.
When now it's all online and you don't know who's real and you have to search their pictures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a completely different world.
Totally different game.
So can you give us an example of like a mini story or a mini 2 lines or something of what you use, like an example of your comedy?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be people watching this that are or were or whatever in the same venue as you were. What are some like things how do you give us an example?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's all good. So like one of my jokes or one of my bits is kind of like how I was, back on the dating apps and things like that. I was talking to this guy, and normally I don't disclose so early in a conversation that I'm a widow. Like for some reason it weirds guys out. I don't know. But
they're afraid you're gonna kill them. Yes.
Yeah, right. But he said, what brings you to the apps? And that's something a lot of people ask on the apps. It's like, what brings you to the apps? And so I was just very direct, and I said, my husband died. And the guy said, well, did you kill him?
Just like she's and
yeah.
Telling you.
And I will say, every time I do this joke, there's a guy in the audience who goes, fair question.
Right?
Every time.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. I have good feelings about that, I guess. I don't know.
Do you get up on stage wearing all black? I mean, is your face covered with a slip or I don't know that they call them slips anymore, but like a veil or anything? I mean, what?
No, that's not really me. That's not really my style. But I get on stage like I am in life, right? Which is I like to think I'm like a warm person, like a bubbly type of person, and that's just me, and that's me
great.
on stage and on. So yeah.
That is, I love that. And people are going to wonder, because some of my clients, I'm a grief coach, and so some of my clients, go through what you're saying. The female ones, it's like they don't want to. The male are different, but the female ones are like, oh, my family is just freaking out about blah blah, right?
Mhm.
And I'm the ultimate permission giver. Like, of course you can do that. No, don't even tell them. Doesn't
Right.
anybody know about therapeutic fabrication? It's a
Right.
nurse term, right? Make shit up.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Let them be in their reality. Don't disturb their reality. So,
Honestly.
I just
Let them think you're the BVM. Yeah, our former minister at church lost her husband, and she's mid-50s, and I was widowed the 2 times I have been before 50, and some guy at church was like, how is she going to manage at that age? And first of all, I knew she was already creating a life with an old friend because her husband had been sick for a really long time. So, but that wasn't public, and it is now. And secondly, I looked at him and I said, I was widowed twice before 50, right? And she's widowed, and she's widowed, and why do you think you have to ask that question? Like, you wouldn't ask that about a widower.
Right.
Why would you do that?
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
The way that people think that they are entitled to like access to your life is very strange to me.
So if you see someone coming that you know is going to have an opinion, where do you go to duck and cover? Where are your duck and cover spots in public? Not on the stage, but like you're in the grocery store and here comes that aunt. Where do you go?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I just dip and run out. You know what I mean? Like I'll have a hat on and just.
I go to the frozen peas because nobody ever bothers you if your head's in the frozen peas. They don't track you there.
Especially when Jill takes the frozen peas and goes, I love you. And, they stay away from her. I mean, that's too weird.
Right. Talk to the peas. Right.
I mean, of all the vegetables, you got to choose the peas. I mean, I would never follow either.
Well, they're good for injuries, so that's my go-to, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I have another question. Once again, it's all about me. Do you do coaching? Do you help people craft? Is that part of, because I know other people have done that. And so do you do that?
Yeah, I love to do that. Whether it's like mentoring like younger comics, those who are kind of just starting out. I have a little group that I like to lean on, especially when it comes to like writing. I feel like I write better when I bounce ideas off of people. So we like to have a little writers group. Sometimes we'll just meet up at like a coffee shop or whatever and just kind of bounce ideas, or we'll spit tags at each other and be like, oh, it'd be funny if you said this, or if you did the joke like this, or so things like that. But especially female comics, especially up and coming like female comics who are kind of just getting out there. I think like comedy is really, really hard if you're a woman, because obviously it's an industry dominated by men. So I think we got to stick together out there big time.
Do you think there was a surge in female comics after the Fabulous Miss Maisel?
I think there are certain things that like happen. I think like the Tom Brady roast is one of them too. Like women kind of see these strong women getting on stage and doing comedy, and I love that. So yeah, we see like different resurgences up there. I think it's cool to see women get up there and do a mic and try it. It's harder to keep them in the game because they realize that it is a game after a while, and you have to grind, and it is so hard to just grind like day after day, week after week. A lot of women don't want to do it. A lot of women, you're constantly surrounded by men who are telling terrible jokes, honestly. So it's harder to keep women in the game when you don't have women to lean on.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. And by the grind, you mean keep showing up late at night. You have to be a late at night person. You have to do blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think lesbian comics have a leg up on that because they're always in the community of women.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So true.
yeah. Mary says that while my husband was dying, we were standing at the foot of the bed telling each other funny stories about Frank. He was such a funny guy. Did you use your comedy while your husband was sick?
I think,
Not
we
on stage, but just for coping?
Yeah, like always. I think we always just had a really funny like back and forth. And I remember a very specific conversation when he was like, after I die, he was like, I need you to mourn me for at least 6 months before you move on. I was like, dude, you get 2 weeks and I'm out of here. I'm moving on. And he was like, yeah, you're right. You would do that. So
I often talk about with my husband, who's going to go first, right? I've been planning it and all this stuff. My husband, there's going to be a line out the door for him to be their husband because he's handy. He's he listens. He doesn't understand what you're saying, but he knows how to go like that, right? And he's all these things, and people, women, just love that.
yeah.
And
He's going to be hot on the market. You better stay around.
he is. Well, go fly. 2 weeks mourning, I'm fine. Because I already know who I'm haunting when I come back.
There you
So
go.
I am not going to the light until I'm done.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, Ian says he's got a plane ticket for him already for Italy.
Yeah, see? Ian loves him. Oh, better
Expect
than
a
that,
haunting. I really do.
His husband, Lorenzo, him and Daryl are like this. Ian and I compare notes. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Lorenzo would also want Daryl. He'd be in line.
Oh,
So,
no doubt.
yeah, doesn't
doubt.
matter. So, wow.
Deb will adapt from the other side.
Yeah.
I know who to haunt. That's all I'm going to say. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So-
Haunting seems really fun to me. I feel like I would be down to haunt so many people.
And if you were to haunt somebody, like what kind of things would you want to do just to rile them up?
I would definitely just move things. You know what I mean?
The picture frame sideways. That's the perfect one.
Not just one.
All of
You
them.
need 3. The rule of 3s.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Now, Krista, how do you find places to perform? How does this happen that a grief comic shows up at a brewery in Eastern Massachusetts?
She drinks a lot. What do you want?
Honestly, I think it's a mix of just networking is a big piece of it. I will say that networking, getting to know other people in the scene, getting to know producers and bookers and things like that. So that's a big piece of it. I think just like showing face too in the community. If there's a show that you want to be on, go to that show, support that show, and be like, oh my God, next time you're booking that show, I would love to be on it. There's a lot of that. But there's also like I produce my own shows as well. And I started doing that just mostly because I found the scene to be very like male dominated, and that's tough. So I started doing shows where instead of like I'm the token female, there's like a token man, essentially.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's so funny. They'll like come to the shows or whatever, and they're like, "Wow, so this is how it feels to be like the only person on the lineup." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Like it kind of sucks, doesn't it?"
Welcome to our world.
Exactly.
That's great. That is so great.
Yeah. So, so there's a
I
lot.
love the way you torture. That is really cool.
It's my favorite thing.
It's a well-honed skill.
I love it. I just love it. Oh my gosh.
Do you talk about your husband when you're doing your late husband? Terry, is that right?
Tony is his name.
Tony. Yeah. Sorry, I've got a Terry because I've been somebody else. So what do you talk about Tony when you're doing your performances?
I do, yeah. I like to share just like bits and pieces about him, about who he was. I craft it, of course, in that like everything that comes out of my mouth, hopefully you can see that is said with so much love. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whether I'm teasing him or like we did this thing and it ended up this way or whatever, like whatever it was, like anything that I write about him. Like I'm trying to work a bit right now about how like he would always like overbuy things, like towards especially like the last year of his life. He would be like, oh, we obviously don't have shredded cheese, I should buy 6 more bags. Like, so I knew he was gone when like the shredded cheese ran out. I'm like, oh my god, you know, like nobody's here to buy more shredded cheese, like this is crazy. So but everything, whether I'm teasing him or being mean, like it's all out of so much love, you know.
Right. And it brings him back in and makes him a part of your continuing life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Which is important when you're doing all of the things.
That is so great. That is so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You know, I can't thank you enough for being here. I also hope that you will show up at AATH and maybe write a proposal for that. And also for International Death, Grief, and Bereavement. The proposal, I think, is coming up soon.
October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, Ian. Ian really loved it. Mary loved it. I think those are the 2 people watching the most today.
We've got more, but yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It'll be seen again, and it'll be posted on the Facebook page
And reposted.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
you know,
Thank you for being here. We've
I
got
appreciate
all of your current upcoming shows posted. If anyone is around any of those places, we encourage you to go. This sounds like a great thing. And will you keep us posted about new ones coming up and we can put them up?
Of course, always.
and will you come on again?
Of course, I would love
If you
to.
need to, you know how like on late night, comedians actually try out material there before they take it on the road. Would you ever, I mean, like I'd love for you to just try out a whole bunch of bits.
I would love that.
Awesome.
I would love that. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, definitely.
We will be in touch, I guarantee.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, thank you again. Thanks for everybody who joined. Thank you, Jill, for being here and being we call each other our speaking wives.
Speaking wives. And thank you, Deb, for covering last week during our time with Walter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Everybody take good care. Have a wonderful weekend. No more storms in the Midwest, please.
Whatever.
No more storms on the East Coast, please. We actually get to relax outside this weekend. It's no longer 9,000 degrees in California.
Right. And Ian, also in Italy, it was 9,000 degrees.
It was. Ian, we're glad things are calming down there and the fires are calming down.
Yes.
So good weekend, everybody. Happy Shabbat to those who celebrate. We'll see everybody next week on the other side. Thank you.